I gotta
Yeah,
look at it.
yeah, it'd be really cool if you could come. I was going to mention during the meeting, but we've got that dental ride going again. But
Yeah, well,
this year we are having some continuing education, but it's really not specifically dental. It's going to be, we've got a former Marine medic who's an AMT coming to talk about first aid and trauma, which is kind of a trauma assessment for motorcycle riders. So be
so
kind of a
getting people
good,
to make that ride's like pulling teeth.
well, kind of like, yeah.
I didn't look at the dates yet. What are the dates?
It's the last weekend in June.
Okay. You're gonna have to say this
And
again for everybody.
yeah, my only concern is that it may be too hot to go into Death Valley and too cold to go up into the Sierras, or too much snow still. I shouldn't say too cold, but we've had so much snow this year. I'm really not sure what when they're going to open the passes. So we'll just kind of have
John,
to
the
see.
weekend before is your ride, right? The Ohio ride's the weekend before that?
Weekend of the 20th.
20, 21, 22, 23.
I wonder how much trouble I get in if I went from there straight over to Rod's.
It sounds like perfect timing to me.
She told me I have a 3-week limit when I'm out, so not sure how she expects me, how many times I'm going to execute that one.
Is that 3 weeks total or 3 weeks at a time?
3 weeks at a time. She decided that, after these 2 5-week trips I did, well, one of them didn't count because she was with me for the first 2 weeks of it, but when I did 5 weeks down there in Guatemala at the 3-week mark, she says, I've decided that 3 weeks is your new limit.
Can you call home and reset the clock?
I don't know.
All right.
Stop for 5 minutes, maybe. Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
Teleport yourself.
I think I owe 2 or 3 people on here at least an email or a phone call. Hey, John, how you doing?
You mean you, John Hendry?
Looks like he's in a truck.
Getting his audio still set up, huh?
I don't know. Can you hear us, John?
Oh, hi there.
Yeah, we're all talking to you.
Yes, I stopped. I'm in my truck. I'm driving down the road. I'm at a convenience store somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
No adult beverages for you.
No. I've got my Diet Pepsi.
Okay. We're about. Can we start introducing?
Yep, go for it.
All right. I'm Jerry, and I'm going to introduce my drink tonight. It is a 2014 Pinot Noir by Alcatraz out of Sonoma Valley. Who's next?
Well, I'll go. I'm Keith Lindgren, and I have a Bloody Mary.
I'm John Cram, and I have a blend of milk and yogurt.
Cool.
I'm Rob Preston. I've got an iced tea tonight.
I'm Terry Moore, and I got Teeland Irish whiskey. Don't buy it; it's horrible.
Ron Mead, and I've got green tea because it's still 4:00, so it's a little early.
I'm Glenda
But
Jameson.
today it'll come up soon.
Oh, who's up? Glenda?
Glenda Jameson, and I have a Ryan Water.
Linda Ryan, and I have plain old agua.
Brian Green, and I've got iced tea.
I'm dry at the moment, too. I've got something I got to run out to later tonight. Go ahead, Jim.
I'm Jim, and I have a Cape Codder.
What's that?
Cranberry and vodka.
David Doherty, Chivas Regal.
Nice.
Oh, Chivas Regal.
Tom Dines, you drinking anything tonight?
Well, I just walked in the door and I got nothing, but I'll have something in a few minutes.
We miss anybody?
Did Glenda say anything?
She did.
I did, Ryan Water, and after being away on a week's vacation, I'm having a hard time not drinking at work.
Where's Harold tonight?
He had something come up at the last minute and sent me an email and said he's not going to be on the call today. He apologizes.
And are you coming to Charleston?
What?
Are you coming to Charleston?
Not at the moment, no. We were going to, but now we're not going to.
Okay. Me and Harold were just going to buy you lunch, but.
No, I'm sorry. That could still happen, but right now it's Springfield, and Missouri, and Bend, Oregon.
I haven't picked a date yet, but you can buy me lunch sometime, Terry.
Okay.
This summer I've decided I think my big motorcycle trip will just trying to get around and meet as many of you as I can.
I think you should go to Vancouver Island and meet Debbie.
I've met Debbie before in person.
It takes forever to get where she's at.
Isn't that like a 2.5 hour ferry ride besides all the driving?
2.5 hour ferry ride, and I think it took us 3 hours to get there from the ferry to Ucluelet. Yuki.
So a week or so ago, she's looking for a new job somewhere and moving.
Yeah, I don't know if she moved back to the main. No, she's still on the island, but not with her boyfriend anymore.
That's what I.
Sean, did you save up for a haircut?
No.
He's got a rubber band.
Oh, okay.
I'll start calling you Retro Man.
I'm supposed to be out in Ucluelet in August to talk to her Rotary Club. I'm
Cool.
glad to know it's a 2.5 hour trip from the ferry.
But she got us to, there's a place on the way. It's called Goats on the Roof.
Oh, cool.
You have to stop there.
Ghost on the roof.
Goats.
Oh, goats. Sounds
Are
good.
Are you sure that's not a roof?
They're on a roof. I've seen them personally.
I thought it was a roof.
Roof.
Well, apparently,
All
Debbie's
right, guys, I have to tell you, this is really funny. We have one Canadian arguing with what she doesn't know is another native Canadian.
That's true.
No, that's progress, huh?
I only lived there for 4 years.
I used to get crap about that all the time from my wife too. You know, roof versus roof, and what was it? My father grew up in Rock Creek, Minnesota, and she says, "No, it's creek." And I said, "No, it's creek. If you're in Minnesota, it's creek."
That's almost as bad as the argument of soda versus pop versus Coke.
There's a map for that, actually.
Really?
An app or a map?
The map. Somebody did a survey of what states, and there's like some part of, I think, the southeast where everything is a Coke, regardless if it's orange or root beer or 7-Up is a Coke.
Yeah, I think that's Atlanta.
What do you call a water fountain?
Well, if you're in Wisconsin, it's a bubbler.
Yeah. What do they call it in Michigan?
I don't know.
Water fountain.
Water fountain?
Yeah. There's a different map for that, actually. I've looked.
Really?
Mhm.
Seriously?
Seriously, there is. It's strange.
I'm going to have to write that down and look it up.
Yeah.
There's a whole set of rules, too, for if you take a round roll, slice it in half, and put meat and cheese on it, what it's called. Never heard grinder, hoagie, sub.
Oh, that's true, too, isn't it?
Stromboli.
Now that's baked.
I'll be dang, you're not kidding about that map, are you?
No. One country divided by a common language.
Holy cow, there's like 30 different choices here.
Yeah.
Share your
Yeah,
screen.
your linguist geek is showing.
Sorry. I'm a words person, goes with being a teacher.
You guys
There's
want to
a
see
really
one?
there's a really cool infographic I saw the other day about whether tea is called chai or te based on whether it traveled over land or over sea from China. I thought was kind of cool.
Is Tang still out there?
Yeah.
Really?
It's really good for cleaning out your dishwasher.
And your system.
No, seriously, if you get hard water buildup in your dishwasher, just run an empty load with a cup of Tang. Cleans it right
I
up.
used to drink a lot of that as a kid.
Yeah. It's really good warm.
Oh, there's a
tea. If you mix the Tang with tea, it can be good. It's been a long time ago.
We used to call that Russian tea.
Exactly.
We used to have I think it was the Raleigh man. He used to come around in a truck and sold big bottles of concentrate stuff too. That we drank. Anybody remember a Raleigh truck? God, this is 40 years ago. So used to come out to the farm. Oh, I'm sorry, 50 years ago. Huh. He had all sorts of supplies of stuff, everything from horse liniments to concentrated fruit juice drinks and stuff.
You sure it wasn't a horse-drawn wagon and not a truck?
Ron's man?
Ron, whereabouts are you at in California?
I live in Santa Margarita, which is just north of San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
So we're on the, coastal, but we are truly right on the east slope of the coastal range.
All right.
So it just rains like stink. I'm sitting here looking at my rain gauge right now. Yesterday we went for a ride and went out and saw the flowers. I mean, there's flowers everywhere.
Yeah.
But this morning it rained half an inch. Wow. And we just this year we just been inundated. But it's great because it's a real small community. We've got a community well, and it's a shallow aquifer, and it fills quickly. So we're in great shape for water right here. And I think all of California is pretty good now, but there's been a lot of times when, of course, it isn't.
Yeah, I met some guys from the Oakland Club today over for lunch today. We're talking about the business development mixer, and I got caught in the arrow stitch in the rain, but good rain gear.
Yep. I've got an arrow stitch, and I have it. I guess I probably didn't have it sealed up well enough, but again, I was in a pretty downpour, and I did get a little wet in the crotch area, but I don't know. Nothing's perfect. I understand that, but that was the heaviest rain I've been in that, and it wasn't 100%, I have to say.
They have a name for that. That's called arrow crotch.
Yeah. It wasn't arrow. It's very wet. Very wet.
Well, there's a trick of, when you sit down on the bike, you got to grab the loose fabric by the crotch and fold it over downward so it doesn't create a bucket. Only when it's raining does that matter.
I was going to say it'd be an interesting maneuver, in a group.
Yeah. That and those triple-digit gloves are really nice for this kind of weather.
Yeah, and you're up in Alameda, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did my residency in Oakland at Highland Hospital. So
nice.
I lived then I was the Naval Hospital, which is no longer exists for a year, way back when. So.
Yeah, back when I was stationed in Presidio, I rode up the coast and stayed on Treasure Island. In space available, what do they call it, BOQ or something like that?
Yeah.
Back when that was still available for enlisteds, and it was to see the Chinese New Year parade in San Francisco, and just have a really cheap place to stay. And I might be passing through your way, like late April or May or something like that, depending on how interviews and things like that go. Trying to shake up the interest in San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah, we're right off the freeway, right off 101, a mile off the highway. So
cool.
Well, since I'm talking anyway, I was going to go ahead and promote my ride a little bit here again, like Jerry and I were talking about earlier. I set up it's actually set up for Dennis. A Dennis ride. This will be the 11th year of it, each year, and it's a charity ride for the California Dental Association Foundation, which does some huge charity clinics around the state. We've done 12 of them now, I think, and each clinic does about probably in the neighborhood of $2 to $3 million worth of dentistry. There'll be like 1,000 volunteers and 1,500 patients and that sort of thing. But anyway, obviously we don't fund very much of it through this ride, but This year, we're going to have our ride in Lone Pine, which is over in the East Sierras, which I think a lot of you would really enjoy seeing. It's the last weekend in June. And we do have dental continuing education, or let me rephrase that, education that is acceptable for dentists for their CE. But this year it's going to be education regarding CPR and trauma assessment, paying particular attention to, motorcycle and that sort of thing. The fellow that's going to offer that course is a former Marine medic and is now an EMT and a rider, and so he'll be there. And then that'll be 2 mornings of 2 hours each, and then the third morning will be 2 hours on California employment law. And for those of you who live in the real world and not in California, you would probably come and get a real kick out of some of the things that employers in California have to do. So it wouldn't be maybe very helpful to you, but it might show you what starts in California seems to end up going around other places. So if anybody's interested, let me know. We, potentially ride down to into Death Valley, up towards Whitney Portal, up over Tioga Pass in the high country of Yosemite. And there's just a lot of great rides from there that we plan to do. So anyway, let me know if anybody's interested. It's not limited to dentists.
What's the dates for that?
It is the 28th through the 27th through the 30th of June, which is the last weekend of June.
Hey, Ron, don't miss the Whoa Nelly Deli outside of Lone Pine there at the Exxon station.
I've eaten there many times.
Okay.
Right, it's right at the entrance to Tioga Pass there, and that's right in Lee Vining. That's actually probably a couple hours north.
Oh, it might. Yeah, I guess
Lone
it is.
Pine, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll probably get up that direction.
It's well worth the stop.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Ron, will you send me the information for that and I'll get it posted?
I will be happy to do that. And guys are going to say the Woonelli Deli is, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it is a mobile gas station that they started a deli in that actually has been written up in the LA Times and many places as a gourmet place. It's kind of an interesting place. It's fun to go there for breakfast when you're getting ready to head up over the pass for the day.
Hey, Ron, if somebody wants to fly in and rent a motorcycle, would you recommend them going into Vegas or?
I don't. You could. I'm not sure where. There's no place close. There's no place close to Lone Pine, and that's why we pick it, of course, is because it's kind of out in the sticks. But probably to actually rent a bike, Vegas might be the easiest.
Yeah, they got a lot available in Vegas for renting.
Yeah, that or Reno, and then ride down the East Sierras. That'd be a prettier ride. It would be to fly into Reno and then come down.
What's the route look like, Ron?
I don't have. I'm kind of waiting to see what the weather's going to be because, I'm not sure if they'll even have Tioga Pass clear to snow. So that will determine, and then depending on what the temperature is in Death Valley, it may not be that great to go into Death Valley. So anyway, we'll probably go up the 395 up into the Mammoth area, up over Tioga Pass if we can. Maybe there's a Highway 168 that goes east, that goes up by the bristlecone pine forest, which is these ancient bristlecone pines, which is really a cool thing to see. And then there's just riding up 395 if you haven't been there. It's just a great ride, just going up the highway. And then there's places where you can dip into western Nevada and take in some other sites too. So to be honest, I don't have specific routes yet.
Okay.
So I'm kind of waiting to see what the weather looks like and how warm it gets and what the snow melt looks like.
Yeah, my brother gets out there really regularly, but I don't think I've been, at least not in a long time.
Yeah, my wife and I go over to the East Sierras at least a couple times a year, because that's our summer vacation is usually on the bikes. And our first stop is to go over Tioga Pass and spend the first night in Mammoth, and then go wherever from there, whether we're going east or north or wherever.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Well, it should be fun. And like I say, we've been doing this for a few years, and I just kind of, not to hog the whole show here, but over the years, I think all total, we've probably contributed about 50 grand to the foundation through the efforts of the ride, which is, has some significance.
That's good. Wow.
I'm anxious to get back east and ride one of the things that you guys are doing, but it's a little ways to go. But we're actually headed into Arkansas and Tennessee late summer, which is probably not a great time to do that with the humidity, but that's the only time we can do it. So I may try and figure out if some people live along the route that we can hit up.
Now, if you don't find rentals along the way, there's a couple different web services you can rent from private owners, like that twistedroad.com thing. So depending on how you feel about that, it might be another option.
What is Twisted Road? That's private people that are renting the bikes?
Yeah. I've listed both my bikes on it, and I haven't rented them yet. But here in the metro area, there should be decent density for it. But particularly where you're a long distance from a rental agency, can really come in handy.
Good to know.
Everybody see Linda's chat post?
No, why? What's on it?
Oh, she's got all the different things around the different parts of the country. The things are called different in different places.
Oh.
It's fascinating. I grew up in the Midwest. I have never heard a pepper called a mango. Pretty cool.
There we go. This area.
Huh. Fascinating.
I guess you guys didn't hear that I loaned my GPS to British Airways this last week.
Oops.
They gave you a haircut as well?
At least they didn't crash.
We only had one guy crash.
Did they give you the
stirred
haircut?
the mud up before I got through it.
They gave you the haircut, John?
Oh, no, I got all this.
Ah, okay.
Hey, y'all didn't notice. Speaking of haircuts, I got rid of it.
Got rid of what? Rid of what?
There you go. The beard's gone.
Ah. Why?
Debbie didn't like it.
Men don't notice that stuff.
Years ago, I've had it for quite a while now again, but years ago when I first got out of the military, I started to grow one, and the lady at church, or Debbie was giving me a hassle about it at church, whatever, and I says, and I was just whatever, ignoring it, and the lady at church came up to her and she goes, "Honey," this is an older lady, she goes, "Don't you know you got to go through a little bit of a brush to get to the nicest of picnics?" He never bought into that, so. Whenever she complained, she didn't like that I said that the other end was stuck in me, but whatever.
It's fun to shave half of it and see how many people notice then.
I should try that sometime.
I got a picture of that. I just hate the cost of razor blades. I mean, that is stupid money. It's like,
God, that's a lot
I'd rather not shave than pay that amount of money.
You got to start using double-edged razors, Terry.
No, let's call it a knife, isn't it?
I got an electric razor I've been using 10 years.
They don't work for me. I just have too thick a beard. It doesn't work.
I think the first couple years I was when I had whiskers, for the first couple of years I used an electric razor, but I haven't used one. I bet it's been 30 years since I've used one. I don't like they just never shaved right for me as far as I was.
Mhm.
I only shave when the goatee gets long enough to flips up and pokes you in the eye when you're riding on a motorcycle. That's when I shave it. And then
That's the
usually I
helmet,
start
too.
the very next day growing it out again.
The way that it feels with the cheek pads of the helmet, I don't like that. So I've grown it out a little bit before, and it's like, nope, too itchy, can't do it.
So talking about beards and shaving, does that make us sexist, Linda?
I was gonna say try shaving your legs and see how you complain.
Yeah,
do.
you want to talk about a cost?
We can talk about No Shave November.
I haven't shaved my beard in quite a while, actually.
Just
But
got
I
it.
am German, so
Our local PD does a no shave November for the men, and the women got upset about it, and they said, okay, fine, we're going to do a no shave legs for the lady. And all the female cops bought into that hook, line, and sinker. And I mean, they were fighting over it. Like, look how long my hair leg is.
Wow.
that's awesome. I've been doing a no shave decade. I think it comes with being married for 20 years.
Work. Too much work. TwistedRoad.com.
Twisted
I guess
Road.
I don't have a real heavy beard because I can use an electric razor and then I use a sharp razor just to finish it, and it works very well. I don't have to put shaving cream on. So it
That's
works,
too much work.
works great.
Yeah.
Well, even with a beard, I mean, there's still the neck thing to worry about, right? Because otherwise, it's scraping on collars and things like that. It just looks kind of scuzzy.
I spend more time trimming mine than I did if I just shaved the whole thing off all the time.
Exactly.
And now what are you going to do with all the time you got?
Yeah.
Time I've got?
You supposed to trim it? I never did.
Mm.
No.
I wish that I could show you guys the drive that I'm on right now. I'd had to drop something off after practice, and I'm driving through Great Falls, Virginia. And this would be an amazingly fun ride on the motorcycles. It's up and down, the kind of hill where you go over the top and lose your stomach. And then it actually follows the Potomac, and so it's round and round and round.
Are you on?
I would flip the camera around, but I think you might get sick.
Are you on the Maryland side or the Virginia side?
I'm right on the Virginia side.
Sounds to me like she's on a pre-ride. Don't you guys think so?
I think,
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't-
beautiful
if-
ride.
It is a beautiful ride. I think if you could have the road to yourself, I would recommend it. But the fact that I'm going 15 miles an hour behind a line of cars at 7:30 should tell you something.
Yeah, you have to do it Tuesday about 10:15.
Yep. And then you just have to avoid the horses,
Yeah, yeah.
which I always laugh about because you can almost see DC from here, but there's more horses in this particular area than there are people.
I used to live out there.
You're only an hour from Gettysburg. You may as well come up here.
I don't think I'm even an hour from Gettysburg because I'm actually in Leesburg.
Well,
I'm right on
Leesburg's
15.
like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm right on 15.
That's my way to the airport when I'm going overseas.
Oh, well, if you actually, true story, I mean it, if you ever need a place to stay over for an early flight or you come in late, feel free to shoot me a note.
Oh, you got it.
That goes for anybody. If you guys are in DC, I live at the end of the runway at Dulles Airport.
Cool. Been
out to the air museum that's out there now.
Many times we actually went, in the summer, they show movies outside. They do a big blow-up screen outside.
Oh,
and
yeah?
we went to see Dunkirk there. And the people who restored a number of the airplanes from the film spoke to us beforehand. It was really, really cool.
It's a good museum.
It's
It
a
is a good
fantastic museum.
I actually, my old office, ooh, glad I'm watching where I'm going. My old office overlooks the runway where they landed the space shuttle on top of the 747 when they brought it in to put it at the museum. So we actually took pretty much the whole day off waiting for it to come in because it was an excuse to take the day off. But we got to watch it land. It was pretty cool.
Government contractors.
Yeah.
Gotta love them.
Hey, when I say I took the whole day off, I promise you, a pinky promise you, I was not charging anybody for it. I'm back office. My pay period ends on Friday, and it's an 80-hour pay period. I hit 100 hours this morning, so that's your hard work, or your money at hard work right there.
Hey, I'm going to change the topic a minute. I switched. This is a totally different taste, and this is totally different.
Is it an upgrade or a downgrade?
I was gonna say, is it better than what you were drinking?
Well, this is non-chilled filtered, okay, and to where Tullamore Dew is triple distilled. So the difference in taste is unbelievable.
It's because it's Catholic. You know the story between the Tullamore Dew and the Jameson?
No.
They consider the Tullamore Dew to be the Catholic whiskey, and the Jameson's is the Protestant whiskey.
Oh yeah, I'd heard that before.
Yeah, my staunchly Catholic Irish Catholic husband's family informed me of that.
Yeah, I'd heard that story before. Hey, trust me, I've been to both those places, and they drink them both nowadays.
Yeah.
How do they drink anything?
How do those compare to the whiskeys you kept plugging me with up there at the International Convention last year?
The Canadian blend stuff that we served up there, we had a great distiller coming out of British Columbia that was, I'd like to get a couple of bottles of that here in the United States. It's impossible to find. And they were very, very good. Just smooth. Canadians are outstanding to doing their blended whiskeys. They really are. They've cornered the market on that, I think.
I agree.
Crown Royal. You can't go wrong with a Crown Royal. Oh, wait a minute. I take that back. Crown Royal Mesquite. You buy a bottle of it. It's outstanding for barbecue sauce. Don't drink it. Use it in barbecue sauce. Mesquite. Crown Royal Mesquite.
This one's very cute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it as well as Crown.
Any of that sweet whiskey, you can just have it all. It's terrible.
I've tried that Jack Daniels with honey, and it's like, no, don't do that.
It's not like rye.
Well, like Terry says, it's great if you're going to toss it on the barbecue and cook meat with it, but that's about it's all good for.
Probably.
Hey, remember, gosh, what was our international president 2 years ago from Atlanta? What was his name?
He's Tennessee, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, Tennessee. What was his name?
John Germ. John Germ.
John Germ.
Yeah, I tried to get his secretary or his Rotary Club secretary interested. Not secretary. She's the professional admin that runs it. It's one of the big Rotary clubs. I've been trying to get her to join our club.
Yeah, John Germ was selling. You can't see it very well. John Germ was selling autographed bottles of the Gentleman Jack from Jack Daniels, and this was this really turned out to be a very good coup for us. This was our first year at an international conference, and the club was doing a fundraiser with autographed bottles from the international president. And they did an entire barrel. My wife just walked in, and we bumped up the price a little bit, just a tad, and, made a couple $100 on selling these bottles. Now, I have this bottle right here. It's available for my cost only, $300. $300. It's about a $45 to $55 bottle of liquor, but you know, I'm being honest.
How much have you drank out of it yet?
Nothing. It's completely open. Never been sealed or never been opened.
Yeah, it looks like iced tea in there to me.
Now, come on, really? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? We gonna go down that road, Jerry?
Which one of us is in trouble? Too funny. Jim Lawrence is on board. Jim, what are you drinking? He's got no sound. He's got no drink either, it looks like.
Jim, you're muted.
Yes, I don't have anything. I'm behind. I'm just like, I made it for what, the last 15 minutes or something. Sorry about that. One of those days.
Hey, you made it. That's important.
Can you hear me this time?
We can hear you. What happened? What changed?
I have no clue. Modern technology. Often, I'm lucky to get a signal. We have a satellite here, and if it's snowing, which it seems like it has all winter, I get really poor reception. Our phone, forget it. I have to go about half a mile down the road and climb a telephone pole to get the phone to work.
Huh.
Not really.
You must be in Wisconsin.
Yep, out in the sticks. I got a real low area, and the towers are just almost out of sight. But I got the motorcycle out finally.
I saw that. You went from you went almost in 48 hours. You went from the snowmobile to the motorcycle.
Yeah, it's crazy. Still snow here, and they don't put salt on the roads. It's tons of sand, so you got to go around the corners of like 5 miles an hour, like riding on BBs. It was beautiful. Tomorrow's supposed to get up to 50. I'll be out in my shorts.
That's
What's it like there, Jerry?
Out here, Jim.
Huh?
I say the 50 is about as low as I see out here in the Bay Area.
We hit just over 50 today.
I remember those.
They're
early
saying
spring
New York's
rides.
going to hit 70 tomorrow.
Wow.
How beautiful.
We got daffodils starting to poke their heads out.
Oh, really?
Out here.
Yeah, the big
There's
sign
20
we
inches
had
of ice on the lake.
About a week ago, the Sandhill Cranes showed up, and that's a big sign for spring for us.
We were a little
The day
chilly.
when
We were a little chilly today. It only got up to about 65.
Again, that is not
the day that we were snowmobiling. The day we were out snowmobiling, I saw the first Sandhill crane.
Oh, really?
Prehistoric. They're great. I love those.
Pretty amazing.
Has anyone else been to Roatan?
I have not. What was it like?
Absolutely wonderful. It's beautiful.
Who are you down there with?
I went with a group of 70 people that included a blues band. It's an island that belongs to Honduras. It's the island's only 60 kilometers long, I believe. It has the second longest barrier reef around it in the world. And you can walk maybe 15 feet into the ocean and snorkel the barrier reef right in front of the resort.
Nice.
Stunning. Mm-hmm.
Where is this, Glenda?
It's an island just off of Honduras. It belongs to
what's the name?
It's Roatan, Roatan.
We're going to be on a cruise there end of next month.
Oh, are you? You'll probably be depending where you go when you get off the ship. There's a few different places that the cruise ship people go, but there was quite a few of them 2 days of the week that came and spent a few hours at our resort on the beach. Yeah. it's beautiful.
Yeah, I've got a shore excursion. We're going scuba diving around the reef.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. Yeah.
Is there a zip line there? I think I've been there off a cruise ship.
Yes, there is.
Big long zip line in the jungle.
Yes, there is. Yep.
Great fun.
Yes.
I was there in 1972 taking teeth out as a dental student.
Wow.
Teeth out of a
So I
what?
suspect it's changed just a little bit. There was no resort.
The airport's a little bit scary to land in because it's a very short runway and you're coming in and you can't see land at all. You always see is water on both sides of the plane and you're getting a little closer and closer and closer. And I said to my friend, I think we're going to land on the water. She said, shut up. And then suddenly you see, but it's very short and we came down hard on one wheel and then we kind of bounced over onto the other wheel. But one of the girls that was there, her son flies for Air Transit. He says it's almost impossible to get a good landing on that airstrip because it's so short. So it's interesting. But I would highly recommend it.
It flew in on a Honduranian Air Force DC-3.
Okay.
That was an experience.
YouTube has some incredible plane landing videos on that island.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look them up. And I also tried out for the first time a full face snorkel.
Oh yeah.
First time I'd used one. And
What did you think?
I loved it. I'm buying one for sure. No water, and no fog up of your face mask at all. They're great.
So there must be a lot of sizes in order to fit right.
If you, I was looking
keep from not leaking.
it tells you how to measure your face. You measure from the bottom of your nose to your chin, and that helps determine the size. I took two, one from a gal that went with me and myself from my neighbors, and I wore his. It was like a medium to large, and hers was small to medium, and it fit fine.
Can't wait for the ride in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the Windy or Windy Nine?
Windy Nine. It looks like Windy Nine. It may be, but it's supposed to be the Windy Nine.
Yeah.
Oh, it can get pretty windy there. Hey, I signed up a couple days ago, John.
Yeah, I got your email.
I registered for the hotel, and the lady on there says that there's some new routes that they've got out now, and she's trying to get some maps for us.
Oh, good. I haven't heard about that. Anybody wants to go on the recon, I'll be there. Arrive the 16th of May, recon the 17th and 18th.
Ouch.
Ouch?
Yeah, my arm's being twisted.
I thought the ride was in June. It's in May.
That's a recon ride. The what do you call it?
The actual ride is in June 20 through 23.
Right, yeah, because I can't go in May.
The pre-ride.
Where's
That's where
the recon?
That's where he goes and finds those mud roads to turn off on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody's got to find them.
It'll be GPS doesn't work here. GPS doesn't work here.
Somebody's got to find them.
Can I just
Is the recon the one in Canada?
I think Bruce is setting one up for September.
Yeah. Up the peninsula.
Amanda had something. What was it?
I was just going to brag about my child. I've been following him home after practice, he's driving on his own. And I would just like to say that I'm very proud of him, and I figure I can brag to you guys about that. My very safe driver who's very aware of motorcycles when he rides. So,
How old is he?
He'll be 18 in September, Jerry.
You're following him home.
I'm following him home. He's driving, and I'm just very proud to watch him because I like that he's so conscientious while he's driving.
What do you think he's going to do with you right behind him?
I don't think he realized I was right behind him, to be honest, because I did bust him rocking out. He's listening to music pretty loudly, but he's at least paying attention to where he's going.
I'll warn you, Amanda, all three of my kids at that age, each one of them, through various reasons, had totaled the car in their first couple years of their lives. And at that time, when the girls were learning to drive, I had that big yellow Wrangler. Do you remember that Jeep Wrangler? And I refused to let them drive that thing.
You know, I think the most important thing for training a new driver is a non-relative. Someone who can say you are doing blah, 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 blah wrong. You know, you are doing explanation wrong. It's like, you need to do this, get in this lane, do this now, you know, blah, blah, blah. It needs to be somebody who, you know, doesn't sleep in the same household with the child.
That's the truth. So Jerry, he's actually driving my my 2011 Jeep Wrangler, 4-door Wrangler that has 215,000 miles on it because I got a new one. So
it's a 4-door Wrangler. That's got a longer wheelbase.
It does have a longer wheelbase.
It's less trouble to get, or it's not as easy to get in trouble.
Yeah,
as
they're
it is
not.
with
The camber on that is pretty high. I'm going to flip you guys around. I think I can, right? Let's see. Because I was going to show off our daffodils because you guys were talking about them. Oh, I don't know if it'll let me do it. There we go.
Oh,
Can you guys
there we
see 'em?
go.
See all that?
Is that what we're looking at?
That's all daffodils. It might be a little dark.
Yeah, it's a little
whole
dark.
section. So, you know, just
What?
bragging a little bit.
And where is this?
Where are you?
In Northern Virginia.
Ah.
But it was 27 degrees this morning when I left for work. It's not 27 now. It's more like 57. Hey, do we have a directory of sorts that has a little bit about our backgrounds? Or could we put something like that together? I was thinking about, you know, as we're looking to, I was thinking about it when we were listening to just last week doing motorcycle classes that I would not have known to ask you guys if somebody did motorcycle classes. So do we have something that, like, I can say, I am Amanda, I do government contracting and I write proposals and I do stand-up comedy on the weekends, you know, something like that.
We started to do that when we were first putting our group together, and that fell apart. But on our Club Runner account, there is a bio section.
Okay.
In each one of our profiles, and it probably wouldn't behoove us to all to go and, or probably, I said that all wrong, didn't I? It would probably be a good thing for all of us to go and update that. That would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Because that's anything in there is easily downloadable, and we could generate a booklet real quickly. By the way, the other thing that we've learned here in this last, I spent some time with Club Runner at Pets, the actual Club Runner people, and I bugged that guy again trying to get him into our club. But nevertheless, the Club Runner app that you can put on your phones, if you go in there and it just automatically, I can go in there and right now, all our members, I don't know if you can see that or not. That's hard to see, isn't it? But I can click on there into each one of you and just send you an email like right now, or hit the phone and call you up right now on it. It's really cool. And what I discovered this last weekend is I can do that with anybody in the entire district. It's got some neat capabilities to it. So,
yeah, Amanda, you need to update your profile picture there in Club Runner.
What's her picture? Now I'm curious.
It's just the blank little gray circle with the dot person.
That's actually what I look like, Scott.
Yeah,
I'm a very bland vanilla.
hang on a second here. Oh yeah, okay. Is there? I don't see a place on here for a profile kind of information though, but I don't know. I'll take a look.
Guys, I've known Amanda since she was like 15, 16 years old or something like that.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
She was an incredible actress back then.
I still act every day. I act like I'm doing work. I act like I'm going to clean the house.
Did I mention previously government contractor?
Yeah, I am.
Called acting.
All right, show of hands. How many people have worked for the government or a government contractor in their lives?
Military counts, right?
Yep, military counts.
There you go.
Good grief.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone, Amanda.
I think I got 44 years of something like that.
Oof.
44 years?
That's a couple. I do feel quite alone when there's a proposal to be done and magically there's nobody around to help.
Well, that happened to me all the time when I was still active duty. That was a problem with the only guy that knew how to use the computers back then.
What do you want, Tamara?
It's like the little red hen story about baking the bread and the whole not having set the pig, right?
Yeah, but back when you were in the military, Jerry, weren't the computers on cathode ray tubes?
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't have any computers.
There's not too many people that know what that means, John.
Yeah, because I knew all the stuff with the computers, and I've been using Photoshop since I was like, oh God, I've been using it almost 40 years now. And that just made me the view graph engineer every time it was something to do the proposals for the money.
Speaking of Photoshop, Linda, did we ever hear back from Debbie about altering her?
We did. We did.
Oh, where's that at? You sent that, didn't you?
We did. Do you have it handy? Otherwise, I've got it handy somewhere.
I can find it. What was it labeled? Well, you got it handy to share with everybody? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think so. I just got to figure out. Well, let me re-download it just because. All right. Hold on. Everybody see that? Well, that's not the newest one.
That's not the one.
No, she actually did a newer one where there's a yellow stripe on the tank. Let me find that. The pressure.
I've got it if you want.
Do you?
You want to stop sharing?
Yeah, hold on. Come on. Stop share. There it is. Okay.
Come up.
Yep.
There you go. What's it say on the stripe there?
D-Vance.
Does what?
Okay.
The artist name.
D-Vance.
When it's that small, it's fine. I was thinking, if we took Rotarians and put it underneath motorcycling and brought the font all up, it would almost like cover the engine space in there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I still think you should have somebody on the bike, like the original one.
Her original one didn't have it on there. Tom's two versions had somebody on it.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
I like it too.
I like this. Can we, that would never, let me rephrase that so it's not so negative. That would be very hard to do any kind of embroidered, like if we wanted to do a polo shirt or something like that because of the earth. Can we also do a version maybe that has like just a black and white, almost clip art version of the earth rather than the picture?
Yeah. That was the last version.
This is Tom. Did we ever have a final outcome on the vote?
No, we're going to re-vote.
because all this is news to me. And again, I'm going to reiterate with everybody online, the work that Tracy has done has been okayed for Rotary International. It has the variants where you can do everything that she's done, small, medium, large. You can put it on cups, you can put it on lapel pins, you can put it on badges, you can put it on shirts, jackets, and so forth. And it's all approved. You know, if we don't want to go with that, let me get back to Tracy and turn her down. Just let me know in the future. I need to know because Tracy's been strung along a long time.
Yeah, we'll get that vote done by Sunday.
And please only use the latest version with the lines of motion.
That version has no motion to it.
The latest version does have lines of motion coming off the back of the rider and the motorcycle.
I know, but the one we were just looking at doesn't.
It's a different graphic, Blair.
Yeah.
That's not one I was working on. That's, I think, Debbie's. And as long as I'm yakking, Jerry, when you have a chance, can you respond to the email I sent about names and numbers?
I saw that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get caught up in so many things right now.
Oh, I sympathize. I really do. You know, if we want to go ahead with it, just let me know. If not,
well, what you're asking for is relatively easy. All I got to do, there's a export option out of our Club Runner account that is relatively easy to do what you're asking for. So then I just got to go through and look at the name.
Yeah,
I think we decided. I know Tom, Tom's talking about the charter packet stuff, but as I recall, we were going to treat all of our associates, and regardless of what Rotary International has to list for us, we were going to go with everybody who was a member as of July 2nd, including the associate members. As so, charter members, the other ones would be associate charter members. So there's got to be a way for labeling that properly, but nevertheless, it'll be about 51 people if I remember right, Tom.
Okay, so we're going to end up with like 51 packets and 51 coins, and it'll just be so.
Yeah.
Charter member, just charter member.
Well, there might be a way that might be that when they label the names, when they auto label them, it might be that we have the associates, their name with a comma associate or something like that on it. We'll figure it out.
All right, I'll work that out when I make the order.
Trying to find Tracy's last thing that you sent out.
Well, I've sent it out multiple times, and I don't know what keeps happening to it, but the only version I'd like to see out there is the latest version that has the rider, the helmet, the trunk that no longer looks like a hamburger, the wheel that no longer has a keyway in it. And again, if we were to use that one, you can use the Rotary International, on the wheel, and it will come out in printed or embroidered in larger versions. And it's all pre-approved for Rotary use in all the various sizes and uses. But that's at this point neither here nor there. Sounds like we got another vote coming.
So Tom, on the packages that you were sending out, does that include all the pre-canned discussion of what Rotary is and all that? Because if it does, there may.
If you look at what was set out for approval, you'll find that all you have to do is go to the. If you want to go to Russell Hampton, go to Charter Packet, and then they have a description, and they're like 8 or 9 items included in their charter packet.
My comment might be that for those of us who are past Rotarians and know, almost by heart all the
they don't. The certificate. The certificate comes in a packet, and it's I think $8.75. Make it $9.95 for the entire packet.
It's less than that when you get it in quantity.
Yeah, it's less than that. If we're going to get 50 some odd, it'll be less than that.
But I think I see what Jim's saying. So those of us that have been in Rotary that don't necessarily,
I think probably most of us, but it'd be nice to have a charter certificate and packet. And I also suggested putting in the Rotary coin with the 4-way test on it, and that's all of $1.45 per member. Certainly, we can do that. And I also indicated I'm willing to foot the expense on all of this just to get it done, and because it's a pleasure to be able to do it. So all I need is a go-ahead and consider it done.
Well, the go-ahead's already been done by the board. It's just a matter of figuring out the stuff you needed now for it. So
yeah,
it's not an issue, Tom. It's just a matter of me answering your question on the email.
Okay, well, just give me a response at your convenience, and that'll be great.
Don't be afraid to beat on me if I forget, okay?
All right, thanks.
I got like 14 balls in the air right now, so that's down from the 2 dozen that was there about 3 days ago. So
going back to the Rotary wheel logo, is Rotary would prefer, I'm emphasizing it again, prefer to use the big block word Rotary and then the wheel. That's what they want to see.
Yes, and that's what's in the latest logo that Tracy had done, and that was at she insisted on the same thing you're insisting on.
Yeah, and that's the push from Rotary. I'm a PR public image person for the district. That's what we're getting all from the district. It's not absolutely required because the Whiskey Fellowship doesn't use it. We just use the old wheel. But we have even had pushback from Rotary about changing it to the word Rotary and then the wheel.
Okay. All right. It's 8:03 East Coast time. Anybody have anything else? Cheers.
Cheers.
I love you guys. This is I love meeting here every week.
Me too. I really do.
All right. Yeah, have a good night. I got to
Now,
go.
we can only improve it by having happy hour 3 times a month, right?
Everybody have a great
It's beneficial
week. We'll
to
see you
all
next week.
concerned.
Oh, right.
Is it next week we have a meeting, or is it the 5th Wednesday? Yeah, it should be next
We
week.
have a meeting next week.
All righty.
It's April
Have a
3rd.
dog walk.
We gonna officially close or just close?
Just close.
Okie dokie.
It's happy hour meeting. Nothing goes. Nothing's in writing, right?
Yeah, we just close happy, right?
Yep.
See ya.
All right. See you guys
Bye-bye.
next week.